band. This is Paul Gilbert, and of course I play guitar for the band Mr. Big. Mr. Big is a rock band, and I play rock guitar most of the time. But I've also learned a lot and really had a good time playing a lot of stuff that I've learned from classical music. So today in this video, we're going to have a look at a lot of that, and hopefully you can play along, learn some of it too. Most classical guitar players actually use their fingers and an acoustic classical guitar to play their classical music. But I do a different thing. I really am not good at the finger thing, so I still use my pick, and a lot of the examples we'll be using distorted electric guitar and imitating the sounds of cellos and violins and even pianos. So hope you have a good time, and before we get started, here's a famous person to help you tune.
Hello everybody, it's a great honor for me to be here as a celebrity guest guitar tuner on the Paul Gilbert video. I'm going to give you a special note here on the fabulous Ibanez PGM 700 guitar that I've been entrusted with to give you the note of choice, which is of course an E note. There it is, tune your guitar up to that. Your E chord should sound something like this. There's your E notes for you to tune your guitar to. Rewind if you have to check that again. And I'll see you around. Thank you.
Way back when I was about 5 years old, I heard classical music, I think for the first time. My parents had a lot of classical records, and initially I didn't like them nearly as much as the rock and roll stuff that they had. They had Beatles records and Stones and the Animals, and I really dug that. But the classical stuff I actually used to refer to as dummy music, which was the best word I could come up with as a 5-year-old for something that I didn't like as much as rock and roll. I think I really started enjoying classical music when I heard a Mozart piece called Ein klein Nacht or Netsch music. I don't know quite how to say it. My German is bad. But it's a real good piece to start with for guitar, for single note distorted kind of stuff. It's pretty simple. It's got a melody that you've probably heard. It's a very famous classical piece, and a little more complicated stuff at the end. It's the first thing I figured out, so good thing for you to start with too. Here it is with some distortion. All right. Well, hopefully the beginning is not too tough for you. As I go on in that piece, the end of it gets a little bit trickier. I do a couple faster pull-off and picking licks. There's really just 3 of them. Let me slow those down for you real quick. This is the first one. I go... And the second one. And the third one. So those sound something like this, sped up. The next thing I learned from my parents' records was a Vivaldi piece called The Four Seasons. And I was still a teenager, so my ears were still, I was still getting my ear training together, and this isn't exactly perfect, but it was the best thing I could come up with, and I still actually like the version that I came up with. So it's not exactly like the original, but it's kind of cool. Uses two-handed technique, and sounds something like this, in the key of C sharp minor. All right. Really, there's only one pattern in that I do. It sounds a lot trickier than it is. For that first beginning part, I'm just using C sharp, E, and G sharp, and this is the pattern. There's 6 notes. Just sped up, sounds like that. Distortion always helps, of course. This one is also a two-handed technique piece. I think it's a Bach piece. I'm not sure exactly which one because I actually got it from my old roommate when I was going to GIT, a guy named Tim Walsh. I'll give credit where credit is due. I stole it from him, but it's a good one, so I'll show you. It's in the key of D minor, and it's got a lot of pedal tone in it. That's really very easy to do with two-handed technique. Sounds something like this. All right, and to play this one, I think one important thing, of course, is I'm using a tapping technique, and when you do that, you have to figure out some place to put your pick. I put my pick down here, right in my second finger, sort of like the heavy metal sign. You can put your pick in there, be heavy metal. And besides that, let me just play a little slower so you get the idea of how it goes, and you can play along. All right, this is the theme from Bach's Harpsichord Concerto No. 1 in the saddest key, D minor. This one's a little more complex than what we've been doing. It's a little more challenging to figure out if you use your ear, and a little more challenging to play, but you'll get it with some work. Let me see if I can play it. Here we go. Very cool. I like that piece. It's got a lot of big interval skips in it, but nothing really all that fast, so hopefully it won't be completely, totally challenging, and you can get it and start playing it and have some fun with it. Hope you like that one. Here's another Bach concerto. This is one for two violins that he wrote also in the saddest key of D minor. I just figured out one part. Hope you enjoy it. It's in the key of D. That one also, if you play bass, the way I fingered that is only using the lower four strings, so you can try it on the bass guitar and have it work that way too. Hope you dig it. This is a Franz Liszt piece, or Franz Liszt. I have trouble with these foreign names. And the piece is called Mazeppa, I think. Again, another foreign word. I'm having trouble, but the music part hopefully will come off better than my pronunciations. This is a piece that has a lot of fives in it. A lot of times when you hear classical music, you'll hear fours, which go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. This has fives, which is a little more odd, but has a really cool sound. This uses a lot of harmonic minor scale in it, so it has that real sinister kind of, and also very powerful musical feel to it. And let me play it for you. Franz Liszt, very cool sounding piece. I like that one. If you listen to the fives in it, they're actually descending fives, where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after learning that piece, I came up with my own lick for playing fives, and I actually used it in the solo for a Mr. Big song called Daddy Brother, Lover Little Boy. And I'll play that lick for you now real slow so you can hear it. It goes something like this. Then I do a 6, 2 more fives, and another 6. Of course, end with a 1. You can hear each one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And altogether, it would be like... Pretty amazing that you can get something like that from a Liszt piece. Very cool. This next piece I'm going to play, another Bach piece for you, and it's a cello piece, which I really like. I love the sound of the cello, and it's a very long piece. It's probably over 3 minutes long of just one cello in this cello suite by Bach, and I like it a lot. There's not really one part of it that's mega fast. I mean, you don't need the drill for this one, but it's really beautifully composed, and it's certainly technically challenging to be able to get through the whole thing without messing up because it's a pretty long piece. Other notes about it, I mean, anything that goes that long is going to have a lot of different techniques in it. There's a little part where I do a little sweep picking, very small amount. Every really kind of picking there is. I do alternate picking. I do some things where I have to do a bunch of downstrokes in a row or a bunch of upstrokes in a row. And the tempo of this is such that you could almost do it with all downstrokes. You don't need a lot of, you don't need a fancy technique to play this, but sometimes things like a couple downstrokes in a row actually sound better than alternate picking. Even though it's not as efficient, you can't go as fast. The tone you get from doing those downs in a row will make it a little bit heavier and put a little more emotion into it. So let me give it a try. This is the Bach Cello Suite number 3. Actually, it's originally in the key of C, but I'm playing it in the key of E since I'm tuned up to normal guitar. Here it is, the Bach Cello Suite number 3. Here it goes. Welcome to part two. In honor of part two, I've got a new guitar for part two. This is an Ibanez Flying V from the 70s. I think it's like a 1977. Kind of a hard thing to find, but if you can, they're awfully cool. Ibanez has been making amazing guitars for a long time. And with this one, I'll play you a little song by Mozart. This is from a movie, or at least the first time I heard it was in the movie Amadeus, which is a movie about Mozart. And I think this is the first thing you hear actually in the movie. It's this is the theme from Symphony Number 25, I believe. And it's good for picking. It's basically just a couple notes with the left hand, but then a lot of picking with the right. And I like the sound of this one. Check it out. In the key of G. All right, that's definitely a good one for working on just picking one note real fast. I think something you might want to keep in mind when you do that is how you have your hand anchored to the guitar. A lot of people will use a couple fingers of their right hand and actually put it on the pick guard and move their arm. I tend to use my wrist a little more and actually keep my hand anchored on the bridge and just move it back and forth like that. So there's a little bit of arm, but mostly wrist in that. Well, let's see. As we move on, again, thanks for sticking around for part two here, hanging in there with the classical music. Next thing we got is a Beethoven piece, this is a piano piece I learned, called Rage Over a Lost Penny. And this one also has some real good picking stuff in it, although it's not just one note, so you got to sync up the two hands when you play this also. Also, actually some cool left-hand stuff in it, too. Let me play it. You can hear how it sounds. I believe it's in the key of E. And this is Beethoven, Rage Over a Lost Penny. this one, obviously I need to slow down some things for you. I think my first thing I want to slow down is this left-hand thing, where you play this lick. And that's mostly legato. I pick every time I change a string, but a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs. And that's a real useful lick just by itself, too, if you just play that over and over. Beethoven had a good one there. The picking part of it is just a pattern that sort of goes up 3 notes and then ends on the first one. So it sounds like all the way down, just using a kind of a harmonic minor scale. And then it does this big long run going up. One of the trickiest parts about that is having to switch hand positions on that last string to get those 7 chromatic notes out. You got to make a real quick switch with your left hand. So let me play that whole thing a little bit quicker. And one more time, just for fun. All right. This is a piece by J.C. Bach, which is J.S. Bach's son, Johann Christian. He wrote a really great harpsichord concerto in the key of A. I really like the theme of it, which I'm going to play for you, and it's got some pretty challenging playing in it also. Let me give it a try, and I'll show you some of the things after I play it. In the key of A, J.C. Bach. That's a very cool one. I love the phrasing on that. One of the things that I like a lot in that are the very classical sounding trills, which on guitar you can do pretty easily just by hammering on and off on one string. And the thing that I like to do is to start on a slightly lower note and come into it. I'll demonstrate that like by going that sort of thing. Let me play it. You can hear what I mean. So it's a trill with a little quick lick after it. Those little subtle things make a big difference. There's a lick towards the end of this that's real bare. It's got a little sweep picking thing in it, and it's way, way up here on the top of the neck. It sounds like this. Really great phrasing on that one. Let me see if I can play it a little quicker, and you'll see the sweep picking part is this arpeggio right here. It goes like this. That's a good one. That's a challenging one. I wish you luck. This next one I learned from listening to a harpsichord piece back to J.S. Bach, the dad of the Bach family. And this one is pretty challenging for me because I actually do use some finger picking. It's real primitive, though. It's just my thumb and my one finger, whatever that one is, the first finger, I guess. And basically I just go down with the thumb and do 2 upstrokes with this one. Some really cool chords in this piece. Amazing chords. I don't know how they thought of them back then. It must have been because they had no TV, nothing else to do, so they came up with great chords. And this one is in the dreaded key of B flat major. You hardly ever play that key on guitar, but we're going to try it this time. And hope you like this one. This is a cool one. Here we go. It's Bach's Little Prelude. There's a million of them, but this is the one in B flat. Here we go. Well, that was a little prelude. This next one is it's not a little prelude, it's just a regular prelude. In the key of C. This is a pretty popular Bach piece that is normally played on piano, and it sounds pretty cool on guitar. It's a little bit challenging to play it because just to get all the arpeggios to come out, arpeggios I think are easier to play on piano maybe. And it's not all that fast, so you don't have to really worry about technique as much as the right tone and the right just emotion and conviction out of the note. That's why I like to use actually a string skipping technique for a lot of this, because it's not so blindingly fast that I need to do sweep picking. I can just do string skipping, and I can put a little more conviction into the notes. Really cool chord changes in this one. Check it out in the key of C. This is Bach's Prelude in the key of C. Here it is. Well, all right, we made it to part 3. Thank you very much for hanging in there. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Still got some more classical things to play for you, and please try to play along. Practice stuff at home. It makes your fingers much smarter. I know it works for me. Before we get started on this next thing, I want to introduce you to my classical instrument here. This is an Ibanez guitar that it's a newer model I had an idea for. It's actually sort of appropriate because it almost looks like a classical instrument. Sort of got the shape of a violin or a viola, and of course it's got the F-holes on there, fake as though they may be, and the volume and the switch hidden in there, so from 100 rows back it just looks like there's no electronics, which I think is cool, and hopefully you'll be playing places where there are people 100 rows back at least, and it's an Ibanez, so it's going to sound great, stay in tune, and be easy to play, and of course look marvelous. And For this next song, I'd like to play another Bach piece for you. This is an invention, or actually half of an invention, because it's for piano, and obviously with piano you have two hands, and I'm just going to play the right-hand part, which is pretty cool by itself. It's in the key of D, and I'm going to try to insert some style. Not the Neil Young style, not the Brian May style, but my own. And we'll see how it goes. This is in the key of D minor. It's a fairly challenging thing, so I've got the pointy pick, and here it goes. It's Bach's invention, two-part invention in D minor. I believe it's number 4. Here it goes. Another challenging one there for sure. Let me slow down a couple of those things for you. One of my favorite spots is right towards the beginning, this little pattern here. That's kind of cool there by itself. Then it does some interval skips. Let me play those for you a little slow. It sounds something like this. So let me play it a little bit quicker for you with this pickup so it sounds a little bit smoother. Very cool there. There's also some melodic minor sequences in this piece. Melodic minor is a scale that you don't hear too often in rock, but in jazz or in classical you hear it often enough to maybe learn how it goes. And this one has a sequence in it. It sounds something like this. Pretty cool. Let me see if I can play that a little bit quicker. And with some distortion. Lots of Bach, lots of Mozart, some Liszt, some Beethoven. We've done some different composers so far, but I tried writing one of these sort of classical sounding guitar pieces myself, and I haven't really titled it. I guess it's Gilbert Thing 1 in C. But let me try playing it for you. It's got a lot of intervals, and on the end I just sort of improvise, which in classical music they call a cadenza. So it'll be a cadenza in A minor at the end. Let's give this a shot. Paul Gilbert Thing in C. That sounded good. Hope you enjoyed that one too. A lot of arpeggios in that one. I tried to do some octave skips. Like the first thing, I go from a C to a higher C, and I use my thumb, which is, I don't know, kind of unallowed in classical guitar technique, but it's okay in rock. So I guess my rock style comes through there. And then I just do a C major little arpeggio thing. thing at the very end of this is a string skipping lick that, at first glance, it might seem like it'd be easier to do with another fingering, but to get it to sound right, the string skipping really works the best. There's two chromatic notes that go, and you know, if you just want to play that, it might be easiest just to do it on one string, even with hammer-ons and pull-offs. But I like to do it on two strings and pick it, because I can get a little bit cleaner that way, especially when it goes to the lower notes. Because if I tried to play that with a standard arpeggio shape like this one, it'd be a real bear to pick it and to finger it. It'd be real strange. So this one seems to work better. For me, anyway. I hope it works for you. Let's try it again. I'll do a little do it slow and some distortion. You can hear how clear the notes come out when you finger it that way, because you have a different finger for each note. Then I just took that up into some different shapes, did sort of a diminished or first inversion version here. I like that. First inversion version. And then here's the next one. And then I did a string skipping diminished lick, which is pretty easy to remember because it's the three notes, or three frets there, and it's the same on this string also, the G string. Easy to remember, not necessarily easy on your hand. It's nice that it's way up here because the frets are closer together. And it's all picked except for which part? There's some of it that's hammer on pull off. I got to figure out what that is real quick. It's the descending part on the high string. I pick everything except for this, where I do two pull offs. So it sounds like that. Again, kind of an odd fingering for diminished, but sounds pretty good. And let me do that whole thing a little slow so you can hear it together. Yeah, rock and roll. I hope you enjoyed that one. In order to actually play it live, you're going to need a friend to play the other part on guitar, because it's two parts. Originally played on piano. It's an invention by Bach, once again, in the key of F major. Really nice piece. It's got some things that I want to slow down for you. One of the main sequences in it is this sort of thing where it goes. That kind of lick there, where it's, again, it's another pedal tone kind of lick, where the lowest note is the pedal note, which is this A. So it's like A, C, B flat, C. And that's a simple lick, but challenging to play fast and to keep the two hands synchronized. So you want to really concentrate on making sure that each note that's picked is a different note with your left hand than the last one was. And that's just harmonized down in that same scale. And some more tips on that might be when you pick it, especially with distortion, you want to pick it pretty lightly. You don't have to dig in that much. And you really want to sort of feel around with the angle of the pick about where it's sounding the best. Because if there's not enough angle, it might hit the string too hard and make it sound kind of choppy with the distortion. You want a cleaner, smoother sound. Another thing that's real challenging in this one is there's a couple of interval skips where I had to resort to finger picking. Not one of my strongest points, but I couldn't think of any other way to get the notes cleanly. So here's one of the main parts. It sounds like this. And let me play that a little bit quicker. And basically I'm just using my thumb and my first finger to go up and down with those interval skips. I've seen people hold a pick and do that, but I can't do that at all, so I have to resort to that. Let me try that again with a little more distortion. Seems like the more distortion, the easier it gets. So here's the right hand part of it, just by itself, so you can hear it a little clearer. So that came out pretty good. Now the left-hand part on piano, which is the lower part on guitar, basically starts an octave lower, has a lot of those same licks, and probably the toughest thing to play in this one is a part, it's down low, and it's pretty difficult to make the notes come through because they're played really quickly. And you have to mute a lot to get these to come out. It sounds like this slow. Sort of a pedal tone part. And I'm using the open D string as the pedal. So your pick has to go pretty wide to skip that string when you get to the low E and the D. Now with distortion, you really have to be careful to make sure that all comes out clean. The next part, I have to use the C as a pedal. And And that part's actually even a little bit tougher because I can't use the open string, I have to fret it. So those two together sound like this. And let me play you that whole thing so you can hear how they sound in context. Pretty cool. So get a friend and you learn one part, have them learn the other part, and count to 4, see how it works. Good luck. Well, now we're coming towards the end of the classical instructional video for guitar, for electric heavy metal distorted guitar. Heavy metal, kick-ass. Hope you enjoyed it so far. Very sad that it's coming to an end, but I have a couple ending licks for you to end your classical improvisation with. And the first one is in the key of D. I got this from a Bach toccata. I learned a lot of it, and this is the only part I remember, but it's a great sounding ending. Very cool sounding ending. Let me play just a little thing in D, and you can hear how it sounds to end it with. I'll go up a little bit higher here on the neck. Very nice the way it works there. And one final ending lick. This is sort of borrowed from a Paganini lick that I figured out a while ago. Just a real short thing, not one of his flashier things, but nice nonetheless. In the key of F sharp. You may recognize the tune if you think about it too. Here it goes. Thank you very much again. We'll see you soon.